All right. Hello. I'm going to go over how I make coffee and chicory or hot my hot drinks. I primarily get most of my fluids through drinking water, but I do like a hot drink every now and again. I was always brought up on coffee and tea and having having a hot drink. I really like it through winter. I prefer to sip on a hot drink, and I want to make it as nutritious and or not bad for you as possible. So I just have light milk powder in my coffee and chicory and all of that, and I don't have any sugar or anything like that added to it. So it's not to get calories, it's more just a taste and prefer thing. Chicory is actually pretty good for you in terms of the macronutrients and all that kind of stuff, which is dandelion root. And coffee is pretty good for you too. So this is the raw, which is a dandelion blend. It just comes in like a granulated actually, I have, bear with me, I actually have what I buy. This chicory has been, this chicory drink or roasted dandelion blend drink actually is a relatively new thing, because I was actually looking for caffeine-free alternatives to coffee and tea and all of that. And a lot of the caffeine alternatives to all of those things were sweetened. So, Horlicks, Milo, Nesquik, all of those kind of malted drinks or chocolate drinks, which don't have caffeine in them, but they're all sweetened. So I wanted a unsweetened version of coffee. Now I did try decaf. Don't like decaf. It tastes weird to me. But I really like this dandelion blend. So this is it here. Roasted dandelion, caffeine free, lactose free, gluten free, 100% natural, whatever. But it's Bonvit roasted dandelion blend, and you get it in a kilo bag of, and it's very similar to tea, how you make it. So I also cold brew my coffee and my tea and everything. So what I like to do, and then the coffee, it's just 100% Arabica coffee beans that I buy. I think I have one in here. No, I don't. It's just it's just 100% coffee beans, and what I do is I ground them up in this, which is a spice grinder, coffee grinder, whatever grinder. So it's just a coffee grinder with a cup, and I put it in that, and I blend it up and make a powder out of the coffee beans. Or the chicory, you don't need to, but I tend to like to blend that up a little bit more too, just so that the flavor comes out of it a bit more. But you don't have to. And then what I do is I put them into ball mason jars. I put 60 grams of each into the ball mason jars, and I fill it up with water, and then I put it in the fridge, and I let it cold brew for 2 or 3 days, probably 2 days, depending on how much I have. So 60 grams per liter of. So these are liter glasses of liquid. So 60 grams to a liter. And then I grab 2 more ball mason jars, and I put a filter on it, like this, These are just metal funnels. And then I line it with a hanky or a cotton cloth over the top. Let's do the chicory. Oh, it's a bit slippery. There we go. And then I just pour that through the filter. It takes a little bit to go through. And then I would put the coffee into this one, and then I just let it go through and filter into the bottom of this. And then I put a lid like this, which is just a ball mason. It's a ball mason lid, like pop top lid kind of thing. Put that on the top of those, and then I just pour 30 mils of either coffee or chicory, depending on what I want. If I'm close to bed or something and I want a hot drink, then I obviously avoid caffeine. So I try and avoid caffeine 6 hours before I want to sleep, just because it disrupts my sleep. Coffee tends to not really jazz me up, but it levels me out, or caffeine does. So I tend to, but it definitely makes me more alert. So I do try and avoid stimulants. I try and have stimulants or coffee or caffeine earlier on in the day, and then I shift over to a caffeine-free alternative that I enjoy later on. And I probably would have maybe 2 or 3 hot drinks a day, which is about the same amount of liquid per hour that you're supposed to have. So one of these cups, which is 350 mils of liquid. So I tend to amend what I should be drinking that hour with a cuppa in terms of liquid. That's pretty much it. It's tasty. It doesn't. It's not very acidic the way that I do it. It doesn't have a burnt flavor, and I've tried everything. I've tried everything from French press to AeroPress, which is the best, by the way, in terms of the hot methods. I've tried espresso. I've done you name it. I've done all the methods, and cold brew tends to be the best method. It's the tastiest. You get the most out of it without having that burnt acidic flavor to it. Yeah, so that's what I do for hot drinks. I really like them, and I've been really liking the chicory as an alternative to coffee. If you haven't tried it, I would try it. But it has a very similar taste profile to me. It has a very similar taste profile to coffee. Yeah. All right, that's it. I'm also going to record a video about cooking the pork and how I cook the pork and how I cook the chickens as well. So I'll do that in a minute.